welcome to class. So we have textile design, as you can see. And when you see textile design as a course, you've done introduction to textile. Now you see textile design, what exactly does it mean and what do you think you'll be doing in this course?
How to make colors in designer dress.
How to
Combine,
mix colors?
yes, how to combine colors.
Talk.
How to combine colors with the primary and the secondary so that we can paint and design our
Okay. So you are saying how to mix colors and then how to design what?
fabrics.
Your fabrics, yes. That is correct. How to design your fabrics. And with colors, yes. But we are not going to learn how to mix colors. You have done that in some other courses already. So we apply the knowledge over here, how to use the colors in designing this fabric. So basically, that is what we are going to do. But this course, it is theory and practical, but the practical is not very intense. You will be doing more in the next course to come. That will be fabric studies after this textile design. So with this textile design, you are going to be doing a lot on paper, designing your fabric or your cloth on paper, and then how you will develop your motifs, the design that you'll be using, like you've been seeing in the cloths, GTP and the rest. And so we will develop motifs, we'll repeat the motifs. We would even learn the different types of patterns, okay, or motif repeats. We're doing all that before you start painting real fabrics on paper. And then the next course that will come after textile, which is fabric studies, then you apply that knowledge now, printed textile rather, you print. Okay, so over here we won't print the cloth, but we'll design it from the first stages. So if they say as a textile designer, what is your job? What is the first thing? The first thing is conception. You have an idea, and when you have an idea, you need to put it on paper. So when you put your idea on paper, you develop your things on paper first before you move to the real work. Okay. Even before moving to your real work, you might have done a sample or a prototype. If it is a dress, if it were a dress, if it were sewing, you would have done a sample, okay, a prototype before doing the original dress, because it's assumed that you have developed a new design and you are not even sure if the stitches you were thinking will work for, let's say, around the sleeve will work until you sew it with the new fabric you are trying to use. Okay, so it's the same thing that applies to textile design. So over here, we'll be doing a lot of paperwork here. So let's look at what the course entails, though I have given an overview. So the purpose of this course is to provide the student with knowledge and skills in textile patterns. I'll be explaining into details and designs. Emphasis will be placed on the creation of varieties of textile designs and the deepening of skills in the creation of two-dimensional paper designs. I think I've spoken about it. Let me move because I will still talk about it in the other slides. So these are the goals for the course. By the end of this course, you'll be able to do all these things. You'll be able to develop your drawings into various repeat patterns. That's the motive or the design. You'll be able to create, you examine and you evaluate a variety of textile design applications, which we will study. It's in the slide. And then demonstrate the skills in designing and decorating fabrics. You need to take it serious because when we move to the next course, you would print. Okay? If you don't understand it and we move, you have issues. So we already know this, right? Assessment. I said there's assessment for every course, and these are the materials you need. I hope you have the materials already. Yes. Now nobody would say, "Hey, we don't have the materials early. We didn't get it early. You had it earlier." I am just elaborating and showing you. And if there's anybody online to can get this, you can do this at home. Yes. So these are the um, materials we need for the whole course. I'll call it a short course. Now, what is textile design? What is textile design? First of all, I didn't say what is fabric design. We now know the difference between fabric and textile, true or false. Because we did it in our previous course, Introduction to Textile. We know that fabric is cloth. Once we say fabric, we are talking about the cloth that will be used to stitch. But when we talk about textile, it could be any other product that is made from the textile fibers, which could be a natural one, artificial or scientific one. Okay, so our bags are part of textile, our footwear part of textile. Sorry, our clothes are part of textile, carpets are part of textile, furniture part of textile, a lot. We even spoke about geotextile and agro-textile. Or agriculture, we have textile there. Road construction, we have textile there. Textile is almost everywhere. So we have done this so we understand. If you are confused, you just refer to the previous. Yes. So, textile design is a process of creating designs and patterns on woven, knitted, or printed fabrics. This means that a fabric is either woven, knitted, or printed. Printed can be we have, let's say, the African prints that we have, the already made African prints that we have. The Wakosongo textiles, the GTP, and all that. Yes, we can still have some designs on it. Okay, we will talk about the textile design applications and then we will understand better. However, this textile design here is not only talking about fabric. Let's pick a textile design application like printing. We can print on our bags, true or false. False. You can print on your shoes, depending on the method that you use, right? You can do embroidery on any textile product if you want to. It is not only the dress. The textile products are a lot. So there are so many this that the sample she's having there, she's having a bag and something has been printed on it. It is part of it. That is a textile application process. So you could do this design on any textile product you have around you. Once it is suiting the purpose for which you are making it for, we are good to go. Okay? So the rest of the slide we are not going to be reading, I'm just explaining. So if you see in our slide, you will see that some of the textile products are even rags. We've spoken about it already. Upholstery curtains at home. We did textile at home, textile here, textile in this industry, and we classified all of that in our previous lesson. So let's move forward. But the only thing is that now we have machines that makes the works faster, though we have the manual process or way of making them. Sometimes it is good to also know the manual way of doing the thing, so when the machine comes, you can progress properly. Okay, so we are now going to look at the repeat patterns in textile design. The repeat patterns in textile design. This is a very essential topic because without this knowledge, you cannot create, I'll put it in quotes, a perfect fabric, cloth, or not even create, you cannot design a perfect cloth because this is like a principle. It's just like if you are sewing, what do you have to do first? You can't just start cutting. You need to take body measurements, proper body measurements. So we have rules, we have guidelines, we have principle. So this is one of the principle you follow to be able to design a better cloth. So if you don't understand this and we move forward, you will always come back here. Now, before you even think of creating a fabric, you would have to look for a motive. A motive. This is a flower. One of that design is a motive. It's called a motive. Once it is repeated, like what we are seeing here, we have repeated the motive, it becomes a pattern or a design. Please get that one. And we have different ways of repeating patterns. If you pick any fabric or any cloth and you look at it, you'll be able to determine if which pattern repeat was used by the designer. The one what we are seeing here right now is full drop repeat or basic drop repeat. Okay, is it that basic drop repeat or full drop repeat? How do we do it? We'll be talking about it. How does it look like? So if you pick any cloth sample right now, you'll be able to tell that, oh, as for this cloth, full drop repeat has been used. Do we get it? So the first one is basic or full drop repeat. So the basic repeat is the simplest and most common type of pattern repeat. So the motifs are arranged in a like a grid-like formation with equal spacing and alignment. A basic repeat is easy to create, calculate, and print, and it works well for geometric, abstract, and symmetrical design. Now, let's consider this as a paper. This whole thing, let's just consider it as an A3 or A4 paper. So what you need to do is to create guidelines. The dashed or dotted lines you are seeing there are guidelines, and you don't deepen them. They are very thin, like tracing lines, very thin or very light. Yes, that is the best. You create them and they are very light. Meanwhile, you have equal spacing and equal measurements throughout. So let's say if it is 24 cm by 34 cm, you will space them up equally. So if each square, for example, maybe this breadth is 5 cm and the length is 10 cm, it is the same thing throughout the whole work. And when you are done, you get your motif and you trace your motif in each square one until you finish. There is no complication about it. So this is the full drop, and you are drawing the full design of the motif you have. We'll be doing this practically on paper. All of it, we'll practice it first before we start painting fabrics. One thing we are also going to do in this course is to paint already made fabrics. That's the last part of it. So you bring maybe a printed fabric, maybe like what you are wearing, you cut it in the size, then you mix color, the same color, you paint it on paper and then paste your cloth, attach it. If there's a difference, you will see it. If you don't mix your color well, you will see it. If it doesn't match, you will see it. So that is part of the work. It's an interesting course, okay? Right. So that is the first one. This one is very simple. I don't think anybody will have a problem if we start with the practicals, okay? Yeah. So what I was saying is that for the basic drop repeat, you see these imaginary lines I am talking about. You could have a fabric that will have the lines and the motifs. That is how they want to represent their design. And in another fabric, you will still find the full drop design, but without the imaginary lines. You will see the motifs full like that, and you can easily tell that this is a full drop design. I hope we understand. So the next unit repeat is half drop design. Is half drop design. And the half drop repeat is a variation of the basic repeat where the motifs are shifted by half of their width or height in every other row or column. So let's go straight to our picture. We can see that we still have the four squares. We'll be doing this, the boxes. So you have your imaginary line. If you want to do this, the first thing you do is you draw your imaginary line as if you are going to do full drop design, the boxes. And when you are done, then let's say the first box will be free like that. But the second box, you introduce a half line. That is giving you the this thing indicator that when you get there, you need to just draw half of your design. You don't need to draw the full design there. So you can see this is actually a full box, but we divide it into half so we can get our half drop design. And that means that you are representing the design halfway. When you finish, it will look like a brick design. Okay, that we will also do that. So when we do it, you understand. Now, um, who can tell me why we have this part of the design halfway and not full with the picture we have here?
It's a half block.
Eh,
So
Yeah.
because it's a half block, the upper side has to go the upper side has to vanish from the top.
Good.
So it's actually coming from the down this side.
Okay, and the same applies to this because this is supposed to be a full box, but we are working with this plane or this surface, and with where we've gotten to, and we are doing half drop design, we can't get a full box, so we cannot represent our full motif in it like it is here. I'm using the pointer, so watch. It's not there. Okay, all right. So our next slide, we have the brick repeat. The brick repeat. The brick repeat looks like the half drop, but no, I won't even say it. I want you to tell me the difference between the brick repeat and the half drop design. For that matter, look at the half drop design properly, very well. And then we look at the brick repeat. What is the difference in these two repeats?
If the half drop is in the middle, that's where we see the upper side and the lower side.
It's in the middle.
As in
What do you mean by it is in the middle?
the motives,
Uh-huh.
it's the middle part.
Here.
Yes.
Okay.
That side is that's where they have drop.
So is it not okay?
But then when it comes to this one, it's in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And then the side rather vanishes.
Is it not okay? Do you have any other thing to say?
Okay, with this, we can have repeat design.
Speak louder.
Okay, with the half drum, that's one is going on this direction, horizontal, this one is vertical direction, and the other one,
The brick.
yeah, the break is going horizontal.
Okay, so let me clarify this point. When we look at the brick, okay, when you look at the imaginary lines, they look like it's the same, but it's not. With this one, you draw your imaginary lines, or let me say boxes or rectangles. It depends on how your measurement is like or how your motif is. After drawing that, beneath each box is where you divide into half. So let's look at the first box here. It is full, but under it, that is where we divide into half. and then the next box halfway, that makes another full box. So you see that beneath every box is where we divide half. But if we go to the half drop, it is not like that. It is horizontal, like you said. We have a full box, then next to it is where we divide into half. Next to it we divide into half. But with break repeat, it is beneath each box that we divide into half, and each half gives us a full box. Then the second difference is that over here we did not split our designs into two halves to create a half drop. The sides here are divided into half because, like I mentioned, the half that is left of the motif is no more because our plane or the space on which we are working is finished. So we have to represent this motif halfway. Do you get it? So is this the motif in each of these boxes here is full. It is not dropped half anywhere. Do we get it? So it is just to create the brick design. So the brick design is ideal for designs that have directional or linear. Linear is like designs that are straight, straight, straight. Quality such as stripes, plates, or chevrons. Okay. Do you know what plates are? You don't know what plates are? Okay. We over here we normally say check, 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 check. That check, check to there are variations. We have one called gingham. We have that. If you look at the check check, we have the ones people have been wearing to the senior high schools. That one, vertical lines and straight lines at equal lengths, equal angles. But we look at some other plates, you realize that, for example, the horizontal lines are bigger and then the vertical lines are smaller, or there are variations in the sizes, which means even the vertical lines, we have big, medium, small. They are changing at intervals. Then the horizontal lines, same thing. So they have different technical names for them in textile. So they are called the plates. The chevrons are the lines that come to meet like vein, like that. Those stripes that also meet like vein, they are the chevrons. Okay. All right, so that is for the brick repeat. The brick repeat, they say it's challenging, but I don't think it's challenging. Once you get your imaginary lines right, I don't think there's anything difficult in just tracing your motif, full motif into the box. Do we get it? Good. Should we continue? Yes. So let's look at diamond repeat. Diamond repeats. Diamond repeat. A diamond repeat is a complex and sophisticated type of pattern repeat where the motifs are rotated by 45 degrees and arranged in a diamond-shaped grid. Now, this I should say is complicated because though they are also squares, it's a square, just that it is in a diamond form. So you will have to measure your paper like that, whatever measurement. For example, maybe you are leaving an interval of 4 cm each, and then you leave an interval of 4 cm each over here. But you need to connect the lines horizontally, diagonally, not horizontal. This is diagonal. Diagonally. Once you are able to connect your imaginary lines correctly, repeating of your motif is not a problem because it is just like repeating your full motif inside the cubes. Okay? And I brought a second design for you to see because this one looks more like a cloth. So you look at this, like I'm saying, in all the designs, you can choose to let your imaginary line be a design factor, meaning you want it to be seen or you do not want it to be seen. So you can see that with this cloth, we can see the imaginary line, means it has become part of the design. At the same time, we can choose to eliminate it and we have only the motifs in that arranged form. We still see them in the diagonal arrangement. Are we okay? Uh-huh. Continuing. So our next repeat is the Ogee. Ogee repeat. It's called Ogee. We have been seeing this design. In fact, it is one of the most difficult designs you could ever come across because you need to get your meandering lines. Meander. meander, meander. Okay, that's meander. So you need to get your meandering lines, and mostly your meandering lines forms part of the design to get that S, you know, or the round designs or finishes. So it is a decorative line formed by two connected curves, as we can see. So the upper curve is concave. If something is concave, how does it look like? Concave is like this, convex is the other way. Or bowed inward, like the inside of a bowl, that is concave. And the lower curve is convex. So we have two concave and convex. When they come together, they form something like a circle, depending on how it is shaped. Okay. So when two curves are linked together, they form S-shaped curve. So that is the technique that has been used to develop the Ogee repeat or the design. Okay, so like I said, I brought two, so you have an idea of how. If you look at the first Ogee, you realize that the motifs are the same throughout. But if you look at this one, they repeated different motifs in different circles. Yeah, so you have an idea of how to do. Actually, this is creativity. So it depends on the textile designer what you want to achieve. Okay, yeah. Then we have the counter change repeat. Look at this counter change repeat very well because I'm going to talk a lot. Like there are a lot of ways of doing counter repeats. So the counter change repeat. Let's use the word change. Let change be in your mind. So it's a design where a certain color of the motif and its background are reversed in another part of the design to balance the elements. See the first sentence. A design where a certain color of the motif and its ground. It can even be the motif itself. A lot of things are happening in the picture, which I will explain. First, we have one motif, true or false. Two, we have this motif in two colors, true or false. Three, some of the motifs have a dot under them, true or false. So we have three things happening inside. That is number one. The second, the other fourth thing happening is for the arrangement of this. Let's use the motifs that are full. Let's not use the ones that are ending at the edges. So on this line, or this is the first line, so let's use this one. On this first line, you can see that this motif has been turned up, let's say upside down, because I am looking at it like a petal flower that is trying to develop and blossom. So I'm looking at it that way, just one of it, and it is being turned upside down here. But on the same line, the next line, it is upwards, and then the next line is downwards again. So that is the changing. That's the counter changing. So it could also be side and side, up and down, or even the four. Okay. Now that is the first line. The first line, the designer decided to do up and down, up and down, up and down. On the second line, the designer decided to do side and side, which is left and right, left and right, left and right. When we come again, you see the designer has repeated this. But even that, under this line, it is up, not Yeah, I hope you see the difference. The first line and this. So the counter change, it depends on the designer. There are so many things in the counter change. So you choose how you want your counter change to look. However, the designer decided to put these colors in the middle of probably the cloth. If it is a cloth, it's not going to be in just one middle part of the cloth. Oh. Probably he has planned that every 1 yard of the cloth in the middle will have this. Do you get it? Or every three portions somewhere on the 1 yard of the cloth should have this. So if you have 6 yards of cloth, you'll be seeing this at certain portions. Now, you as a designer, you can also choose. Let's assume you are working with the same motifs and colors. You can also choose to do counter change. Let's go back to the first line. You can choose to do the same thing in red. Then the second one will be up like that, but not in red, in the second color. Maybe even your colors are even more than two. So you can counter change the colors too, at the same time counter changing the motifs, okay, alongside here. So that is counter change. So with counter change, your motive, your motives will determine how you turn them. Because this one looks like a petal, the way the person has turned, every four petal looks sensible. It's a petal motif, so a natural motif. So if we take this one, this circle now, it is sensible. If we take this circle too, it is sensible. So your motive will determine how you move along. Okay. Any questions on that counter change? Repeat.
Then it looks like a diamond.
It looks like the diamond repeat.
Yes.
Yes, but it is not, because this one is counter change. A lot of things are changing positions. The diamond repeat, all the motifs are in one position. They are upside, it's a flower. It is in one position. It doesn't change. We didn't slant it. We didn't turn it upside down. But this one, there are so many counter changes: up, down, left, right, and even with the color of the motif too. Any other? Any other? Okay. So we have toss or random repeat. Toss or random repeat. As the name suggests, if you are tossing something, if we pick any object now and we throw it, the way it lands on the table, it may land in a different position. Assuming we pick something that has shape, maybe the cover of a phone. When we toss it, it can decide to bring the inside, and then even the size will turn. It will be turning in different positions once we toss. So with this one, if you have your design, you toss it in any direction at all. You see, look at this design. You can't see lines, right? Even with the counter chain, you can't see lines. It means that the designer decided that the imaginary lines will not be part of the design. So he wants only the motifs to come out. So it's the same thing that happens to the toss and random repeat. The lines were there when the designs were constructed, but the lines were not meant to be part of the design. So by the time the designer had finished designing this, they had vanished into the design. Are we okay? Now, there's something I want to draw your attention to. It is textile, so let me teach you. Maybe along the way you will meet it. We have been seeing this motif, right? We have been seeing this motif.
Yes.
I have mentioned the name to you before, or it's not this particular lesson. I said the motif inside, the name for the motif is called Paisley. Paisley design. Paisly. Paisley. Paisley design. All right, so let's look at the last slide on this lesson. Oh, come on. It's not anything, it's just a thank you, this thing, yeah. So, in the absence of any questions or concerns, then we end this lesson here, this lesson one. So, we continue with our lesson when we meet again. So, see you next time.